What's happening, guys? This is James Blonde with MMOHuts.com with a quick weekly recap for MMO news and announcements for the week ending April 15th, 2014. Lots of crazy news from PAX East this past week, a lot of which I got deeper coverage on, so definitely look forward to that. But first off, we've got an announcement from Robot Entertainment for Orcs Must Die Unchained, a free-to-play Fortress Siege/MOBA-esque game, and for the first time in the series, teams of players are responsible for both sides of the battle, which is to set traps trying to stop the enemy assault, and summoning their own armies to raid the enemy's defenses. So Orcs Must Die fans are going to love this one, seeing that it's going to be focused around what the other games in the series were missing, the PvP. This one is even more fast-paced than the other two games. It's really fun to play. You're going to want to check out my coverage headed to you guys later this week. Blizzard obviously made their big presence at PAX with Heroes of the Storm, which I've got to admit is not the easiest game to get coverage on. But either way, they're showing off several new heroes such as Lili, Zagara, and Brightwing, new heroic abilities, a talent system that seems to be fairly customizable, and of course ridiculous new skins and accessories, which they show a lot of here in the new PAX feature trailer. Needless to say, their booth blew it up all 3 days, and with all the content they've been pushing out recently, I'm willing to bet that more and more people are about to get access to the game, including myself, hopefully. On top of all that, Hearthstone announced its highly anticipated single-player adventure mode called Curse of Naxxramas. In this mode, you get to fight against new enemies such as Hagen the Unclean, facing new challenges and as a result getting new rewards, including new cards. The new adventure mode looks to be headed our way rather quickly, but these mini expansions look to be DLC that is going to be up for purchase rather than something added into the game freely. I guess we'll know a little bit more about that in the near future. And speaking of card games with new expansions, Card Hunter is set on introducing a new expansion later this month called Attack of the Artifacts. This new expansion brings in all new adventures, new cards, 6 new treasure hunts, new tile sets, new monsters, and more. But it also introduces organized league play, where players can actually pilot monster decks, win prizes such as unique figures, treasure chests, and even Papa Manchu pizza, which is the cash currency in the game. It's actually been a while since we've seen any news from Card Hunter, so this new update is bound to be a big one. Next up, it looks like the brutal third-person shooter Dizzel is actually headed to North America via OGPlanet this coming summer. Looking to start its first beta test around June 9th, the best way to describe Dizzel, for those of you who haven't seen the game, is Gears of War meets Mortal Kombat. The game features brutal and hardcore fatality-style executions, because shooting your enemy to death in this game just isn't enough. It's all about the finishing moves that keep them from being helped back up by the rest of the enemy team. So in Dizzel, you can pop in and out of cover, guns blazing, then finish off your enemy with a variety of unique fatalities depending on the character and weapon you are using. From the looks of the trailer here, the carnage just might be enough to make the Mortal Kombat devs proud. A massive update to Warframe landed in last week. Update 13, Dark Sectors, features a huge update to melee combat, solar rails, new weapons, new enemies, and of course a new Warframe Hydroid, who harnesses the power of water with devastating effects. The big focus in this update is Melee 2.0. The game's melee weapons have yet to be this powerful. Fully equip your melee weapon with new weapon attachments, add combo chaining, equip state and stance mods, and realize an entirely new melee system altogether. Honestly, this has to be one of the biggest updates to Warframe yet. There are 10 new dojo rooms for customization, 4 new weapons, an extended tile set, and even more. If you stepped away from Warframe for even a second, this update is more than likely to bring you back to the game. Next up, Black Gold Online is making haste into its upcoming closed beta, but plans to get there with a pretty beefy update based on player feedback from Alpha. Major changes to the game's features are already underway, including changes to the combat system, quest line, open world PvE, dungeons, and instances. The battle vehicle and war beast systems will be receiving some important adjustments to offer greater personalization and customization while improving on the nature of the mounted PvP and reinforcing the core teamwork concept of the military battlefields and energy well battles. The graphics in the game will also receive some attention to help reinforce the core art concept. The same thing goes for the UI. This time around, the UI will be much cleaner, more customizable, and less obtrusive than before. And apparently these are just a few of the changes being made to the game prior to the closed beta, so I'm kind of glad that we haven't been able to cover the game just yet. So much has changed already. Cool news from ArcheAge last week. The alpha test has started here in the West, and Tryon Worlds is handing out keys. According to Tryon, Alpha is an opportunity for a hand-picked group of live streamers, fan site operators, and community members to test out the game and show off all of its features. So the non-disclosure agreement has also been lifted, so the world is free to watch and share their thoughts on the game. Not to mention the servers are up all day, every day, so hopefully it's only a matter of time before we can get you guys some keys to get in and love the game yourself. On a similar note, we've come across even more news from Black Desert. Several new videos have come about, including this one showing off some of the interactive gameplay features. From NPC relations to milking a cow to moving large objects to catching your next mount. I've got to say, every aspect of this game we've seen so far is pretty mind-blowing. The only drawback is it's just now going to closed beta 2 in Korea, so it'll probably be a little while before we see it in the West, just hopefully not too long. But speaking of mind-blowing, I checked out a crazy game in development at PAX East this past weekend that makes you feel like you've got Jedi mind powers. I got to throw trucks with my mind. Yeah, that's actually the name of the game, throw trucks with your mind. And that's actually what you get to do. The game promises head-to-head competitive telekinetic battles, and it delivers just fine. In order to play, you wear a headset that detects specific brainwaves based around your focus and mental relaxation, and you use those levels to fuel your skills in-game, some of which have you lifting, pulling, pushing, and throwing objects to crush other players. It's a really awesome concept, and I've got some cool stuff to show you guys in my PAX coverage later on this week. Next up, some surprising news from Sony Online Entertainment that I guess was a little bit too early to show off at PAX, but SOE announced their newest free-to-play game as an ode to Star Wars Galaxies fans out there, known as H1Z1. This new game combines the open-world compatibilities of their Forge Light engine, which is the same engine that they use in PlanetSide 2 and EverQuest Next, with the survival aspects of DayZ, so it's a new survival MMO. Not a lot is released yet on the title, but from what we heard, there will be some unique elements such as fully interactive environments like blowing up gas stations as a distraction or setting fire to a single tree, which in turn could spread to other trees, taking out an entire forest as a result. But like I said, the announcement was just made, so the game is really early. I'll look forward to getting more insight on the title at this year's SOE Live. And finally, for our last bit of news, League of Legends has decided that it's time to say goodbye to Ultra Rapid Fire. This mode was originally meant to be an April Fool's joke, but it turned out really successful with the community. Therefore, they extended it for an extra week. This past week, Riot decided to pull the plug on the game mode, but have also stated that it's planned for a return at some point in the future as a featured game mode. Not to mention they plan on having other modes like it. It's only a matter of time. Anyway guys, that's about it for MMO news and announcements for this week, but don't worry, I've still got plenty of PAX East coverage to show you guys, so stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, if you're looking for more information about the news featured in this week's recap, check the links below, then head over to MMOHuts.com/news for even more MMO news. Feel free to discuss the news in the comments below, or head over to MMOHuts.com/forums. Until next time guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.